Nona Peltier.
That gives us lots of time.
It does. There's lots to get through tonight in business news. First of all, the board of the warehouse faced some unhappy shareholders at their AGM today, right? You were at the meeting.
I was.
What were the shareholders saying?
Well, you know, it was kind of interesting. The board spent quite a lot of time explaining, first of all, the chair, Joan Withers, apologized to the shareholders for really the dismal performance of the company over the past 12 months, which saw their share price slip about 30%. Which is, you know, significant.
Hell yes.
And the shareholders, you know, I've been to some of their meetings in the past. They were a happy bunch, and lots of them turn up. There was a lot of empty seats today, many empty seats. And the people that were there questioned the board about really their strategy, how they're going to cope with online sales, the failure of their financial services division. There was a lot to explain, and overall, I guess the meeting ended with the company saying, look, I think we've got it right. We're going to bring in some international consultants.
The old consultants.
Yes, indeed. There was a lot of criticism of that, believe me. And also that they've hired some international experts to join their senior executive team, and that they're going to implement a big transformation to the company so they can really turn things around.
Right, so they're just bringing lots of folk in.
They are. But they have some strategies, and to be fair, I mean, you know, this is going to be quite a challenge, and it has been seen that some companies have done pretty well in battling back against Amazon, namely Walmart, for example, in the United States, North American market, which their chief executive referred to as a model of a company that can take on the big company and the big online retailer and win. So we'll see. You know, I mean, the way things are going, it can't get a lot worse.
No, it can't. You had a bit of a night out last night, no?
I did have a night out last night. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I'm delighted to hear it. So this is the New Zealand's top 200 companies, right?
That's right.
Is it still called the Deloitte Top 200?
It is.
Right, okay.
I just didn't mention that,
No,
you know.
okay. Yeah. Oh, no, well, yeah. But I'm sure they put money into it.
But they were lovely.
Yeah, right. You were at the event. Tell us about the winners and losers.
Well, there was, I would say, come on, John, they were all winners, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you know, top 200 companies, you can't go wrong there. However, the visionary leader was Rod Drury, who I did have an opportunity to interview afterwards, which was a little bit of fun. In his speech, he said that, you know, as part of his vision, he encouraged all of the leaders there to take some time off when the America's Cup happens and bring along their contacts from around the world to have a good old time in Auckland. Yeah, for maybe 3 months or whatever it's going to take.
Wow, that sounds nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Company of the year?
Oh, the company of the year was the A2 Milk Company.
I was quite surprised by this.
Well, interestingly, they took a bit of a swipe at old Rod Drury's decision to delist from the New Zealand Stock Exchange at the end of January.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was kind of interesting. They said that they thought their dual listing was a very good position to be in, and they were not going to abandon the New Zealand listed market.
Yeah, fair enough. Chief Executive of the Year?
Simon Mutter from Spark. He had a really tough year. He is a pretty smart operator. He's the guy who changed the name from Telecom to Spark. People laughed at him, but it turned out to be a good move.
Ex-Auckland Airport, that guy, right?
Yes, but also former Telecom. So he's gone, he sort of did a bit of a circle. Now, I asked him after the awards, what was the most challenging thing that happened in the past year? And he said, the hardest decision he made was doubling down on wireless broadband. He said that was a pretty gutsy move for the company to do and for the board to support. But he thinks it's going to pay off.
And this is interesting because we were talking about this man talking about the roles of chair people. And of course, we've been looking a lot at Bob Simcock as chair of the Waikato DHB and what chair people do and don't do.
Right.
And the chairman of the year, or chairperson of the year, although it was a man, was
Rod Campbell.
Rob Campbell. And why did he get it?
Well, you know, he's been around a long time. He was a union guy. You probably have had a lot to do with him.
I remember when I started in journalism, Rob was still a fairly strident unionist.
Rob Campbell. And I've interviewed him a few times. He's been a chair of big and small companies. And he's just been recently appointed the chair of Sky City.
I'm not saying a word. No.
You're just looking at me.
I'm just...
You don't know what to say.
No.
I mean, this is a guy who's really moved up. He referenced his days as a trade unionist, trade union leader, and then as a director of companies, and now as a chair. And he's the chair of, he was named chair of the year as the Tourism Holdings chair, Somerset Group, and now, of course, he's got Sky City. And I asked him recently about, whether he thought it was a good idea for small companies to list on the NZX, and he thought it was just the right place to do it, even though it hasn't worked out for everybody.
Yeah. Right, what do the markets do to end the week, Almona?
Okay, look, our dollar's trading at 68.8 US cents, 90.2 Australian, and 51.7 pence. The NZX Top 50 Index rose about 1/3%, 28 points to 8,130. But, Wall Street's closed because of the Thanksgiving holidays, so we'll see what happens next week.
Thanks, Nona Peltier. Have a wonderful weekend.